Thank you so much for inviting me to speak to the Service Children's Progression Alliance Annual Conference today, and I'm really sorry that I'm unable to attend or be with you today. But I wanted to at least send you my thoughts and best wishes for this year's conference. Service children is a matter close to my heart. Every parent wants the very best for their kids, and having raised two unruly sons and a daughter while serving in the forces, I'm all too familiar with the challenges of balancing family and, of course, forces life. And the additional stresses borne by service children, the upheaval of frequent moves, the pain of leaving friends behind, and of course the hole in family life when a parent is serving away from home. It's easy for those stresses to turn into resentment or indeed difficulties at school, and that's why the research and work of the Service Children's Progression Alliance and the initiatives like its Thriving Lives Toolkit are absolutely so important. So a huge thank you to everyone at SCiP and of course your partners for the helping hand you give to service children. I know there's a business case being developed to explore continuation of MOD funding, which I'll read with great interest. The Alliance is one of our many partners who does so much to bring the Armed Forces Covenant to life by identifying the interventions sometimes needed by the service community to get a fair crack at the whip and overcome the educational challenges that can arise as a direct result of being in a service family. I believe those who risk their lives for their country are entitled to expect their country to help their families overcome the challenges associated with service. I believe that says something about the type of society we are. And that's why the government is in the process of reviewing and refreshing the UK Armed Forces Family Strategy with the education of service children as a key pillar. And as a further step forward, we'll soon launch joint guidance with the Department for Education for schools and local authorities in England on how best to support service children. As a parent, it's important to listen to our kids, although at times it may be painful. I know listening to service children has always been a guiding principle for the SCiP Alliance, and it will guide me as the Minister for Veterans and Defence People as I move forward. If you're part of the Alliance, thank you very much. If you're thinking about becoming a part of the Alliance, please do get involved. Let's not let service children be held back by the additional barriers they face in service life. Let's help them overcome them, tackle them, and get amongst it. So thank you very much indeed for coming today, and I apologise I can't be there. Well, thanks, Ruby. That's a fantastic question and really important. We're actually seeing mental health issues in service individuals go up, and we put in place enough courage to deal with that. I think the ability of the family unit and indeed the serving personnel to identify mental health issues in children early allows us to then look at that and then put mechanisms in place to deal with it. And I think we're working with the Department for Education at the moment to put in place sort of better support mechanisms in schools, and then we're working some novel solutions with a Covenant Trust Fund to help deal with mental health in children of service families. Dr. Kate and Claire, I think it's a really, really important question, and it's not just a question that's focused in around SCiP or sort of service children. It's actually for the broader veteran network as well, and our service families. We don't have any centralised pool of data at the moment, and it's something I'm looking to address as we move forward. And I've actually employed a small team at the moment to go around, build up and understand where our pools of data are, and then look at some novel solutions to hopefully pull that all together so we can access it, analyse it, and make sure the right services get to the right people in the right time. Dr. Claire, Matt, Millie and Ali, I think that's a really important question. Moving house for any service family is difficult already. Moving location, moving schools, moving NHS sort of practices is already a real challenge. So to do that on top of having send sort of specialist requirements is even more difficult. We're working with local authorities, we're working with the Department for Education to try and make that as easy as possible. We're a way to release that Department for Education guidance to schools. And then finally, hopefully in the next year or two, maybe 2 to 3 years, the Covenant should come into law, which should ease some of those abilities to move and really put into law the local government's requirement to support service families. Gracie, I think that's a really important question. It's hard enough sort of accessing some of the capabilities when you live next to a base. So if you are dispersed, I can imagine it's even more difficult. The Armed Forces Family Fund supports dispersed children and opens up access to various different facilities. And then, of course, on top of that, we've got the SCiP's toolkit, which is also really useful. And then I would also say on the gov.uk website, there's a whole plethora of different charities, etc., that also support families. So across those three, there's various different mechanisms, and I often find that it's actually people don't know where to look to unlock them as they sort of try and access these capabilities. But really good question. Thanks. So as a ex-member of services, now in the reserves, and obviously the Veterans Minister, I used to use three. Interesting, as a family network was always difficult to hold together when you were deployed, and I was deployed a lot. I used to use three things to keep my boys in check. You'll probably laugh at this across the conference. One is a healthy body. The other one was sharp mind, and the final one was a right attitude. And whenever I was on the phone back from a deployed area and they were annoying my wife or another family member, I would use those three as sort of guidance to try and keep my little boys in check. Hey, we'll see if it works in 10 years when they turn out to be little rogues or not. But sometimes putting in place in a family some little guidelines and rules and principles to live by is useful to keep them in check. But thank you very much today, and I apologise I can't be there. I think you're doing an amazing job. The family unit is the foundation that holds the service individual in the job. It allows them to sort of protect the freedoms we all enjoy. And I always say no man or woman is an island, and without your support, there's no way they'd be able to do their job. So thank you.